Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, if you look at the gold at this time frame, this is small time frame, like 1 hour. I use this to monitor and leave my trends running because some people can really observe so well when the market is moving on the least lower time frame, like 1 hour, and that is what we are going to be doing. We are going to be getting back to 1 hour time frame. But for those you remember from start, these are the goal that you have been aiming to achieve, and this is it. So we have been aiming at least to get this market out of this. So first of all, we were drawing this yesterday. This is small dot here, and we were talking about the breakout. Towards this, at least we can get a piece of where this market might be ending towards now. Look at this. Now this market is how it has been moving for a very long time on the ground. I want to analyze this again, and this market was actually is on uptrend for a long. So intraday traders, if you can actually own, so this is something that is actually going to, this is analysis for a month, something that you can come to next month and still base your analysis on the same in the 2 months, 3 months. So this is something long term. Okay, but this is not actually your signal maybe of entering, so you don't use to enter signal, but it gives you that view of how the market actually might be moving, so that you can avoid some of things that you're going to be seeing on the market, probably whether the market is going to be on the, for example, this one you can see it is on uptrend, and that's why we're saying that from this point, since the market actually touched that 120, we have been all the way long. Those who have been here, they know that we're saying that we're going to be all long. There is no shorting the market, so no selling. We have been buying throughout, and that is what we have been doing. All right, until now we see the market probably breaking this and forming another highs. But there's a culture here. Just look at this, because when you look at this market clearly, this big move that happened between this zone from this point up to this, right? All right, this market actually do not even retrace at least 50% of that. At least, maybe, do you know the market cannot continue like straight moving up, or maybe just moving down just like this, the way it just moved like that. There was a gap that was created here, was not filled, but the market decided to go all the way down just like that, and that is very okay. But just look at what has really happened between this point here, that 438, all the way to this. Remember, this is daily time frame. We will be going to the lower time frame to see whether we have some opportunities. And when you look at this market clearly, you notice that at least this one, we'll be talking about gaps, because I can see some gaps were created yesterday when you use, we are compiling just different concept, so just bring one analysis that will be helping us here. Now, what I see from this market, if you actually draw something very simple here for the market that is actually was moving down, assume now this line here, because if this probably before even this market comes here, it will actually market, then gold actually can even revisit that one something, but it's not going to go to this point. That's why I said this point was critical, because we are buying from this area here. Now look at this, we might be moving back to this line again, but this is what we need in case this market has to come to this area again. So if you look from this zone to all the way to down here, now what we are waiting to see is at least which is this market going to achieve at least 50% of retracement. Is this going to retrace at least 50% or 61%? That is what we can expect in between there before this market moves up, because you can see there's a very big move that happened here, and we are waiting to see a retracement for that, at least 50% of it, between 60 and 50% of that, to see what is going to be happening. And I'm going to be showing you something that might be happening here, a region that we can be waiting to see, and that's where we see the market is starting to react from that zone. But I don't think whether we are still there. So that is what we will be looking when you'll be going to the lowest time frame, because this market cannot to proceed like it's I know gold sometimes can do that, so I'm not surprised any. That's why I'm always ready for anything on the gold. I know gold actually can come all the straight all the way and start moving all the way even to 36, and you do nothing about it. So you have to be ready every time with the changes. So anything that changes in the market, you have to be ready for it. All right. Now, when you go to the lower time frame, let's see, because we are focusing to see which region is this in between here, where we can actually get the market just pulling back, because we can't continue this straight. Actually, we might even move back again, maybe probably to that to something before now we come at this area here. But remember, the time we will be hitting this, there will be high chances now we are going to hit a new high, and that is what I'm waiting to see on the gold side. Right now, let's see, when we go to, let's proceed with the 4-hour time frame. So I know there are some friends of mine who are beginners, and this is what is called the time frame alignment. Aligning the time frame, you can start with the highest time frame, you align with the up to the small time frames, getting different information, but they all end up giving you one thing, and that is your entry and the focus of where the market might be moving to. Now look at this. This is how the gold was actually moving. Look at the ending that was here. So there's a lot of rejection that was happening here, and yesterday, that is what we are waiting for, this market to break, and it was broken out. Now, applying the rules of breakout, applying the rules of the breakout, most of the time when breakout normally happen, this is what the market does. It's let me show you what this is to my experience, right? So when the market actually breaks this region, it will find a place to settle, and then it will revisit this zone before it proceeds to move up, right? That is normally what happens with the different breakouts. There are breakouts that happens horizontally, about the trend lines. When you draw the market that is either up on uptrend, like this daily time frame that you have seen here, like this trend here, right? And this an horizontal one, just like these are normal resistance, zone. Okay, that just happens there. Now we are finding to see where is this market going to be settling at, because by just of something this candle is not going to give you a signal that that this market is just going to be reversing from that zone. No, that market might not be reversing from that, and you have to find a place. Either we are going to be using Fibonacci. I know I actually posted again, and I told you people to tell me whether it is, because I've had different names. Is it Fibonacci or Fibonacci? Because I've heard people talking about this differently. What is the name? Is it K or C? Let me just get that on the chat if you are listening to this. I don't know. Now, let's find a place where this market can actually be settling in between this, and we are taking this on the daily time frame. So we are going to be finding in between this. First of all, let's just draw, because it's very simple. Let's take this and take it all the way from that and see, because now we might be, the reason we are entering from this point here is because we are expecting a revisit around this zone, and then we just be back again, right? And if I use this, if I'm going to be using this week here, and this point here, then it means our region settles in between. Let me draw that to see whether that is the reason the market is going back. Yeah, I can see Rastas Wanjao is saying it's Fibonacci. Fibonacci. Chi or C. I really don't know, so you forgive me, whatever. If I mention C, whatever I just mentioned, just forgive me about that. Now let's see, because you see this market is making some small moves here. Let's see whether that is a reaction this market is getting, because you can see this point between 0.6 and 50% actually lies in between here. And remember, this is it. Just look at that. This is it. That is it now. That is it. But let's just even draw this on let's see whether it's the same on daily time frame, because that is important as well. I want to see, remember that what we're saying, adjustment for the daily time frame, and see whether it settles in between our point. Okay, not K. Okay, I will make sure that I avoid the K one. I'll make sure that I avoid the K. Now let's see. I want to get another one. Just this is actually just the same, and now we are settling in between this region here. Let me show you. We are going to go in. It's called you just scale in. You start from the highest, just going into the details. Yeah, so we got our point there. So I'm getting our point around that area, and let's see whether that is why the market is reacting around that zone on the highest time frame. And I'm going to be giving you some of things that you'll be observing if that is true. Okay, because you just don't say that that is the region. I told you this is the simplest strategy you can use. I don't want to involve a lot of things here because we have so much. We have so many. Now let's mark that. After marking that one, let's see if that is what is going to be happening. Now for this market to settle, I'll even go now to a lowest time frame just like that. And now let's see. You see this region here is so nice because you see, yeah, just look at that. It has actually acted as a support for this and also this one, and there was also a gap that was created here. So that's why you see now this market is indeed doing its things around this area. Now look at that. Now what do you expect from this market if this is true, if this is actually going to be reversing this? And from this point on, because this is 61, I expect this market now to at least break this so that we can move here. But remember, what is my point? In case this market settles down, what do I expect for this market to come before now it proceeds to move up? Remember, when I say the market is on the uptrend, whatever signal I get from this market, I'm not going to concentrate on buys, on the sellers, on selling. I'm not going to short this market, and that's what I said. I'm going to focus on selling, on buying this market. I'm going to be going long for a very long time for the gold, but it has to prove me every point. And remember, the one point that we wrote in capital letters is ensure that the market comes to you. Don't just wait for the market. Don't chase the market. Always wait for the market to come to your side. Now, when do you expect this market to come to before now it proceeds? That's why now we proceed to another now this hour time frame as well. So on this lower time frame, now this is what we're going to be seeing from this. Now we can even start analyzing these candles to see whether it's going to give us something like that. And there's nothing good as market actually coming to your side, because you'll be prepared so well and you're not going to chase the market. I know there are some people who will be starting to sell here, and that's why you see some people maybe started selling here. That's why you see the market is not straight here. That's why you see there are sellers and buyers, and the market is really indeed struggling to move up, because I know there are some people who started selling here, but there are a lot of buyers who actually, after this breakout happening here, bought this market here. Yeah, I'm going to pay for my trading view, and I'm going to put, I wish maybe I'll pay that today, but mine expired yesterday. So this what we call the volume candlesticks. You can access it here. So this volume candlesticks, what they means is that there are some candles that I'm going to show you the kind of volume that has been entered to the market, and some of them are going to be bigger because the candle is going to be big according to the volume that was entered as at a certain zone. And I think this could actually be bigger. Yeah? When you see a candle, you see that ni kama imekula vizuri. Now, that is what we are really talking about here. Now, what I'm expecting from this in terms of the candles, but I'm really expecting at least when we get to this zone again of at least 3250, that is now when we're actually going to be entering a buy. And remember now, when the market is on uptrend, when we are waiting for the market to move up, remember all our entries, we need to focus on buys, and that's why we bought yesterday. We have been buying from since the market actually touched that 120, and that is what we are expecting to be seeing from this market as well. That's why I think there are some people selling here, but yeah, I know the market can actually move like that. I don't think whether this was on Monday or which day. I think it is on Friday. We are waiting the same market to come here, and I told people the market is sure coming to a certain zone, and the market went all the way to that, and I did not sell. Oh, we are waiting this just to buy, and I know that is the hardest signal to tell you that the market is going to come to this zone and jump. That is the hardest things that you can actually do on the market. Now, what we are really waiting to is at least a break from this, at least a retracement from this move that happened from this zone that you can see here. Our support last city happened from that 2 here all the way to that 3. I think that is a very big move. So you can see gold actually can move with thousands of pips in just one day. So what you're going to be getting here is another something different from what we analyzed here on the daily time frame, because now this becomes one of our key point, and the next one, this is going to be different, so don't be confused. This is how to do it. So the next one is going to be this one. Let me see in case now, so that we can go in the details of candles, because we are going even to analyze the candles and see whether we are going to be getting a candle that is going to engulf the previous one. Now let's see whether this is the one. And you see it's almost settling to our area. That's why I'm saying this area is important here again. All right, but I'll tell you why to actually if it is be proven or whether it is valid or not. Now this is a region that I will be expecting at least going maybe to come, and it does not matter whether that 310 or what. I know there are some people may saying, hey, that's so many pips there. Those so many pips for this market to come around that zone here. But by goal, as long as the market is on uptrend, I'll be focusing on the buys. Now, this is what's going to be happening. Remember, gold can do anything. If it's just trying to move up, I can actually even move up all the way just like that. Or maybe come waiting for it to come to the region that we've been waiting for. Inuzie to, like, it's just a smell that region and just get back. So there are a lot of disadvantages that comes when you counter trend when the market is on uptrend, and then there are a lot of disadvantages to that. And now look at this. The reason I tell you this market will be reacting for this, we'll be going to candlesticks and tell you what we can expect this market to do. Now this is the region I'm being expecting. You see this. Let me even just trace here. That's what, and I'm being giving you the deal breaker, and what will tell us whether we will be in the same page or maybe we'll change the analysis. Remember, if you do these things and they fail, it's either after that is they fail when you are not entering the trend, but you just wait for a perfect one and you just enter, but you are well planned. All right, it's not all the day that you have to trend. Remember, this is what we expect. Now, this market now, you see the 50% of retracement actually comes to this area. A pullback comes to this area here in this zone again. But remember, this was a previous rejection, and that is what we expect. And I already told you that these are some of the rules of breakout that normally happens. Now, this is where we can be expecting this market to come to. Yeah, that's why I'm not feeling well, man. So I have to end this very early. So let's finish this. Now, this market is now, I'm waiting for it to come to this. And what do I expect from this is I expect, and the next step is actually going to be even 34 here. Probably around 33.50, around 50 of it when we come to this. So let's see. From this zone here, from here, I expect the market to come and jump, but at least not so far, because you can see already that will be big, so that this market can avoid moving straight like it was moving. Now, that is the area you have seen already. This is the area that we are waiting for this market. Let's just break again down to see where we can be expecting this market now to. What are the deal breakers? Now, this is where we check on the candles. The only candle that is going to be allowing me now to see how this market is going is these three candles that you see here. You see, these three of them are going to be very important for me here. You see these candles that you see here, these three of them are going to be very important to tell me whether this market is really indeed going to my zone or not. All right, this is very important. This vital, this vital. Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this? Because I don't want this market to come back and break this. In case the market breaks out of that, we'll come with another analysis to change that. There's no problem. But what I'm expecting in this market, you see this candle you see here, I'm expecting at least to engulf this previous one, because I know this is the most ending that we get here. When you go to 2-hour time frame, we are going to be seeing that this one. You see this. You see this one. In case now this market comes in the next 2 hours, so this candle opened around 9 a.m. It's almost 30 minutes to 11, so it's going to be closing at 11. So in the next 30 minutes, let's see how this market is going to be reacting and whether it's going to be closing around below 32. So in case we get 32, below 33, in case we get below 33, then it will be until that this market, in case this candle just closes below this, it will actually be true that this market will be ending all the way down. And that is what I'm expecting to be getting there. And once we hit this, now we can be preparing to buy from this zone. Remember, this is going to be our buying zone, because there are a lot of advantage from that. If you even hold your position for a very long time, then you can actually even wait for the market to hit even the newest high, the new high, or what can actually happen to that market. Now, that is what we expect from that market. Okay. Now, what if that fails? What if that fails? Because that is Formula One that we have there. What if that fails? If this fails, because I think that is very valid, that is the most valid one that we have. If that fails, then because this is a long-term plan that we have, this is a long-term trend that we have, this will actually be a money generator. These are very many pips we are talking about here. We are talking about many pips, right? That analysis belongs to many pips. And when the market comes to this zone, that is time now we start analyzing and stop loss, where we'll be putting our stop loss, where should we put our TP, when to enter, because when this market comes to this zone, we start doing other things. For those who have been here, they know that's why we set an alert for that. But we just wait for the market to come on that zone, then we start thinking also of entries, right? Yeah. Now that is what I'm talking about. Now you see that is a deal breaker. I have to get that to get approved that my trades are valid. But in case this market actually start closing like 20s there, just you know that this market is actually breaking the broken. You just know that this market is breaking the rules and we are ending to other direction. So Erastus Wanjao, good morning. So if you're watching this, ensure that you like things live. That will be very important, right? So if you're watching this, ensure that you like. I'm almost to close this. I think it's almost 30 minutes. So let's finalize this on the deal breaker. So make sure that you watch, you like kindly if you're watching this. Now let's look at the deal breaker there and deal breaker. What will actually happen if this market breaks these and maybe start moving all the way up 20s and all those things? Then the next step that you're going to be focusing, of course, is here. It's not here. You know, there's a high possibility that we might be getting you know, this point here, this is not even valid. That 346. So what I'm waiting to is this zone here. Then the next zone that we'll be talking about is this. So in case this market breaks that, then and goes straight, then we'll be focusing on selling this point here. So those are things that we can be waiting to see. So either way the market moves, we are going to be getting a position to do something, and this is about patience. Now sometimes we analyze the market and get an instant signal. It's like when you pray. I've always heard that when you pray, God is going to give you two answers. He's either going to answer your prayers, your prayer answered, or you're going to be given is like a waiting, and you are told just wait, just wait. And that is what we get from the market. So when we are analyzing these things, it's either going to give us a signal of either wait or an instant execution. That's why we have pending orders in the market, and that's why we have instant execution. All right, because sometimes you have to get either pending or instant. The other day I've been instant, other days pending. And I see today we have a pending because we don't want to. If we are actually going to rush on this market, that means we sell, we buy, and out of this, you are going to be caught inside. Now you will regret, trust me. Yeah? Now that is what we have here. So we got the big deal there of this market breaking this and moving to this, and that is the best signal to buy from this region that we have around that 250. And the other one that we have here is actually a selling pressure that will be happening across this area, because that is going to be a must. Of course, that is the market. If it's going to touch this, it's actually going to move down. That is what we can expect for that market. And in case it moves, probably now that is the time it will be selling. If it's actually be reaching to that 366, then we'll be coming back to that 290, and that will be so many pips that we'll be talking about there. So those are the two goals that we have here on the gold, and that is what we'll be getting from here. But what I am hoping from this, what is the best signal from these two, is actually for the buy, because that is what I'm expecting to be getting from this market. But also the sell that we might be getting there is also valid. But remember what we said, in case the market is on an uptrend, the best part is to keep on the buys. All right. Musa is already here. He is following keenly. Yeah. Yeah, it's just simple, but we start from the highest, we bring senses. So every candle that you see on the market does not represent a candle. It represents you. It represents your money. It represents your feelings. Yeah. Yeah, so every candle that you see on the market does not represent just candles. It represents the feeling. All people feel is how they act, so it represents the feeling. So if someone is fearing the market, you're going to see the market moving down, because out of fear they are closing, they are selling, and ingrained they are buying. Yeah, so that is what normally happens in the market. Now we have the dream breaker. Let's see what that is what we're going to be getting. Now, if we are going to be getting this market probably moving to this, then we might be moving to this region here. And I know this market can actually move to this point, but there's no need to buy here, because the risk towards the reward, if you actually compare, if you win between the risk and reward, never take that trade. Just weigh the distance between where you can place your TP and SL, and avoid that trend at all, because it will cost you badly, no matter how sure you are that this market is going to be moving to that direction. Yep. So that is what I'm expecting from that. I hope maybe it was simple. I know it's maybe that's the simplest strategy you have had. There are a lot of things I don't want to improve here. Volume things, maybe indicators, some indicators to tell us 1, 2, 3. I don't want to involve that. News things, so that is what we'll be focusing on. We could have checked on the DXY, that is dollar index, to see how it is performing, and it might have given us some signals, because it might sometimes to moves the gold prices, and that is what we really got from there. Yeah, so those are what I will be expecting from this market. So I'll be monitoring this. You can still monitor the same and see whether the market is going to be reacting in between those zones. And when market come to this zone, that's why I told you make sure that you subscribe and turn on notification bell. Is when I go live, you're going to be notified, and probably those 5 minute 10 minute I'm going to be giving you a signal, and I'm going to be giving you signals live. So that's what you get today. And yeah, it's in 40 minutes now, uh, analyzing the market. So I think this has to be like 2 hours of analyzing, getting everything in details, and just deciding to summarize it in a very simple way that you understand without involving a lot of big technical ones. But let's see how this market is going to be reacting from this. So after yesterday move, you are not going to be getting all the moves every day, like market moving up and down. No, you cannot get that every day. Sometimes the market is, you are going to wait. Yeah. So we have entered two trends this week, and they have been all successful. We all hit TP on those all trends on Monday, Tuesday. Today is on Tuesday or Thursday. Today is on Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, last week, all the week I actually hit the TP. So let's hope this is going to be good, and when we reach there, we'll make some decisions. Yeah, that is from my side. What do you think? And that is it for today. Yeah. Akash, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Ensure that you subscribe, turn on notification bell. When I come live again, you'll be notified, because we might be getting a signal here. And yeah, yep. And it is line with the 4 FPG. I'm using Fibonacci, that instead of FPG. When you talk about FPG, is actually more in details. When you talk about FPG, is like this. See this candle that you see, or this big move here. You see, let me show you. When you talk about, we are talking about this. You see, this is a gap here, and that's why it was filled by this candle. This market went all the way down like this, and this market came back to fill this gap here. Okay, another one almost this, but this was not filled. There's so many, like this one. Look at that big move, and this was filled here. So that is the difference. Retracement normally is almost the same, but different from the gap. I think when you talk about the gap, FVG, we are talking more in details. We are talking more in details of the candle. Yeah, so that's from me on my side today. Thank you so much for those who are watching this. Ensure that you're watching Dan's like video. I'm going to be releasing a video of 3 mistakes that you're doing to be losing your account in the next few hours. Make sure that you check on that video. It will help you so very much. And that is from me. I think that is the strategy. There are different strategies that you can use in the market, but out of this, I think we have applied only the breakout strategy. The other strategy that we'll be using according to how the market behaves. So when the market, that's why you have to master at least 3 strategies, because when the market moves like this, you apply different strategy. It's not that one strategy that you have is going to be equal, is going to be the master of everything. No, it's not going to be master of everything. No. 3 things are very important. Tony Mairogi official, morning from Qatar. Hey, a friend of mine from Qatar. Good morning. We are doing good here in 254. We are just following the news that Tanzania may ban X. Hey, Kenya sees we are very banned people. Are you actually even hearing that we are we are banned models? We are banned role models. Like we have very banned behaviors that we are influencing Tanzanians people. Anyway, God forgive us Kenyans. That is crazy. Until now, the Suluhu Hassan has just decided to close the X. We are very dangerous people, and when it comes to the online fight, that's crazy. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be waiting to see whether this validation is going to be true, and we can be waiting to enter the market anytime we get this zone here, and that will be before Friday. So what I'm going to be doing here, let's do this. Let's do this. Um, let's do this. God. I can see a friend of mine here. I think your name is in Chinese, so I can't read. Yeah, is it chin 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 or what? Let me know. So let's see. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to set an alert. Do you know what is an alert? Alert is when the market reaches to a certain grade, it's just going to, like, okay, I'm not going to do this on the PC because I'm not always glued to my PC. I'm going to do that on my phone. Just do that to your phone. If you have trending view, go and set an alert. But you know, some people actually have free trending view, so you're not alone to do that. But if there is any place that you can set this alert, it's going to be good. All right, I want you to set an alert for that 342, right, for gold, that 342, and another one for that 266, right? These areas here, that 266, and around here that 340 there. Just set those alerts on your phone for the gold. Make sure that you set those alerts. They are very important, trust me. Okay, but the biggest move, the sure one that maybe I'm expecting from this market to happen, is the big move that we're expecting here, and this is the most one. This is the most important. This is a nice one. This is a good one. This is the one that I'm going to be entering, but not full force, because I think, make sure that you actually don't always do risk management. Whatever I'm saying here, although we have been so accurate, I know so many people are saying, there's someone commenting here that our strategy is 99.9%, but no, it's not. It is not. Sometimes you are going to even to be wrong about what is going to be happy. So that's why you have to be prepared all the time. That's why you see, even on my side, I always make sure that when you are in profit, I trail my stop loss to the TP, and sometimes I minimize risk by closing some positions. Like yesterday, I closed at that 384 instead of 83, 82.90. I closed at 82, 85 there, 82 there, around that zone here. You can send of that. And the other position we closed earlier, that is $6 to a TP, because I was wanting to minimize the risk. I wanted to minimize the losses in the market, because the market could have reversed. Okay, so those are the areas that we're going to be focusing on. Now, what I'm talking here, Mongi, yesterday was Mongi. You were not here yesterday, and you missed a lot, because some people made a lot of money yesterday. So I don't know where you have Mongi. Yesterday you missed a lot. So I'm saying that we are going to be setting alert, not sell limit or just buy limit. It's just an alert. It's always important. Never put. Just listen to this. Never put. The buy limit and sell limit are there, but don't use them. All you just have to do, if you're going to student of me, you know that, always set alerts. If the alert is around that zone here, make sure you set it. And that's why I've told you, just set an alert at that 240, that 340. That is an alert, because the market will be heading to this zone, and you will be focusing to see whether we can get a reversal here. Probably we'll be going details into candlesticks, and the other alert that's going to be setting is in between there, around 66, 32, 66. Some you can set at 32, 70, around 32, 66 there, because now we'll be buying at that zone. So that is what you have to do for you now to be good on that. All right, yeah, you got that. Make sure that you mark that. The gold prices is at 33.02. Let me mark this. I'm expecting this market to move this way. I'm expecting it to break that, but I know this is going to be the ending. It's not going to move straight like that. This is going to be the ending, 32.96. If this market is going to cross below that 3, that is going to be going below that 3, we might be ending to this. And once we get that, boom, might be getting all the way to that zone. So that is what I'm expecting to get from this market. Now, this plays a big role for patience. I'll see you again. I don't know when, but when this prices just crosses, just know I'll be ready to live stream, and make sure that you always stay alert on that. So set those alerts. Once your alerts are actually activated, I'll be there. Join live so that we can analyze more and have smart entries. But that is what I got from this market. Anyone has anything to say before I close this? Because I think we have come to the end of this. and we are closing. Yeah, so we are going to be closing. Mongi is supposed is actually yeah, actually, why don't you invite someone to this live, man, and become a big number? Actually, when you will be hitting 100 views stream, I'll be sharing something. There's something I have been working on and to share for free. Njimanga, have a good day. So thank you so much for those who are watch this, and I'll see you again. I'm not feeling well, man. You can see niko na hauma kidogo, and I can't talk for a long time. So I will have just to observe things and do other things. And remember also, I have my own student. I have my inner circle people that I'm really been working on. So I have to tell them. I have to do things in more details with them just a time. So I have my inner circle. Yeah, I'm building that team to just. I need 22 students. Inner circle, not for classes, but more different and more big than that. So that is my inner circle that I have, and yeah, yeah. I want to make people millionaires. So those are my guys. So I have. Let me just go and work on them, and to see you again. I'll see you again. I don't know when. Just stay tuned, and I'll see you again later. Have a good day. Have a good trending week, and all the best. All the best. Have a good day. Bye.